without exceptions on the streets, were really drunk. Welcome back everyone to our fourth episode of Gevorgyan Grind. Today we are going to talk about our recent adventures, but not only. So we're going to talk generally about traveling and what importance traveling actually has on the path to becoming successful.
Yeah, most people really will never grow actually because they never get out of their comfort zone. I think we partially covered it in the last episode. But in order to challenge you need to get out of that comfort zone. You need to get out of your hometown. And you need to find yourself, because only on the travel, only on those road trips, you can actually get new experiences, meet new people, and find yourself. Because staying in your hometown, you always get used to that same routine every day. You are going to work, you are going to the shop, you are meeting the same people, and you never experience something new. And that's what becomes the comfort zone, and that's what brings you to that average mindset that we covered in the second episode. So we will be covering our recent road trip to the Baltic countries. 3 days, every day one new country, 1,000 kilometers of drive one way, so 2,000. I think we split it in half, right? 50-50. Yeah. I drove 50%, my brother drove 50%. And we drove probably through any kind of climate changes that you can imagine, except from snow, of course, but we had terrible
rainstorms, like you couldn't even see in front of you, exactly. So it was crazy. Also sunny, it was sunny and then windy and you could feel it when driving the car, but it was interesting actually, yeah.
And at some point there was such a crazy fog, right? You couldn't see in front of you, so that was also another experience, a very interesting one. And that is what is challenging you to grow, guys, actually. Right, you are experiencing something new.
To become a better driver, guys.
Exactly.
That's what happened to us.
Exactly. So, what were the funny moments actually? Apart from, of course, that crazy driving, etc. Like we were first in Riga, we went to Tallinn later next day, and then we drove back to Kaunas, Lithuania.
The funny moments started already in the road trip. So going together with my brother on a road trip is already funny on itself. And already on the first destination where we came to Riga, the funny moments I think started there. That was like the highlight. I think we picked a really funny time to visit the countries. Yeah. It was like Friday evening before Easter and everyone was gathering up, drinking, having a fun time. What is fun for them, of course.
Yeah.
I think for us the only fun thing left is gym. That's how our life turned around. But like everyone, without exceptions on the streets, were really drunk.
That was good to see the average minds out there, right?
And we were like, they're not watching our podcast, exactly. So we can see.
And we were walking with body, gym body, right?
We were just the only ones sober over there, just to be honest. And it was like a obstacle course, like the people were waving around and stuff, and we even took like e-scooters and started driving in these busy streets and trying to avoid crashing into someone because they were like weaving around. No, it was interesting. So yeah, and also there we understood that the most people actually don't have any goals. Like you can see over there, okay, partying is fine, meeting up with your friends is to some extent alright, but if you meet up with your friends just to drink, and that's the only way you can have fun, well then you got a problem in your life to solve.
That's so true actually. And I think what was interesting is to see that people, even during that holiday period, they are not spending time on their goals, they are not spending time with their families, but they're just out getting drunk and crazy, right? I mean, it's just...
Yeah, if I'm thinking about our free time, if we happen to have some free time at the moment, then we start to do something that will enhance our lifestyle. Or
exactly.
Just start learning something or earn money most of the cases.
And the example is the trip, right? I mean, we had 3 days off and we decided what to do. Let's just ramp up our percentages in the visit, which we will share with you guys actually.
Yeah, that's actually the main topic today. So about our app.
We are not sponsored, by the way.
It's called Visited, the app, and there you can just mark where you have been, where you want to be, where you have lived maybe. It's generally free to use. You can just download it and have fun with it, make traveling like a fun challenge with your friends, with your family members. That's what we have done. It's like a really good illustration of where you have been, which parts of the world you have not yet seen.
And that's another way of visualizing your goals, right? We are speaking and covering quite a lot about visualizing something, guys. That is so important. And this is another example of it. Maybe a simple one, but you can see that we are visualizing another goal of ours, which is to see as much as possible of the world. Because if you stay at the same place, you see same thing, you never grow. But when you go out to Asia, you go out to the North America, or you go out to Africa, so you find something new, something that you have never experienced. And I've noticed so many times traveling, and after coming back, you come as a different person. Because your mindset changes, you start seeing things differently, you become more creative.
And generally, you also become a much more interesting person.
Exactly.
I saw a video like a few days ago about some influencer, I can't remember who it was. They were talking about they were sitting in a circle with like very wealthy people, and there was a poor guy over there in the circle as well. So they were talking about how they became successful, how they achieved these things, their stories. Like they gained 5 million and then the next day they lost 10 million and then they lost it all and then they started from scratch and came up back again. And everybody's telling these interesting stories, what they have seen while traveling and stuff. And then when it comes to the poor guy, what should you tell about? Like he's 9 to 5 or coming back home and doing nothing. Like you don't have anything to tell about. You're just overall not an interesting person anymore for nobody. That's also where traveling comes in handy. Every time we travel, we just traveled for like 3 days, but we have gained so many stories to tell just by exploring the world and also doing some maybe stupid things just to be able to tell about them, you know, gaining like many stories to tell.
Well, on top of that stories, you also break your daily routines. We speak about routines, which is quite important to stay like motivated, dedicated, disciplined, consistency, etc. Those things are still true, but it's important from time to time to break that routine, to go somewhere else where you don't have any routines, you don't create anything systematic that you do every day. You just experience, you try to be creative, try to understand how to survive in a new environment. And that also makes you to reflect and to understand that what you are doing back home is actually what is helping you to travel new places, to meet new people. And then once you get that rest, you come back to your routine, you also start looking at things differently. You start to understand and value things. For example, we went to the gym yesterday after 3 days of a break. And I can feel like, although I don't have the same strength because we just made a couple of days, which were our key days actually during the weekends, which we are doing PRs. So we didn't do those key days actually. I feel I lost a bit of strength, but I also feel that my muscles got the rest they required.
And you also feel more energized, right?
Exactly.
And that's what I want to touch on. I think your brain just refreshes while traveling. And I'll explain shortly why. Because when you come into a new space or a new territory where you haven't been, you don't know the streets, you don't know the language they are speaking, so you're a foreigner over there. It's like you go into a foggy place and you don't know what's coming up to you. So we're also excited, like your brain is functioning. What's going to happen to me? How should I ask this question? What if this person doesn't speak English, for example? How am I going to communicate with the people there? So your brain starts to function more than your daily routine, because when you drive to work, you already know the way. Your brain doesn't really work. You talk in the same language every day. You talk to the same people, so you don't really learn most of the time anything. You're just stuck in this place where you don't learn anything new.
And that's how you build the confidence, right? I mean, putting yourself in a situation where you don't know what is the end, like how are you going to behave, what you should say, what should you do. And when you come out of those things successfully, without any problems, without any issues, then you build that confidence that, hey, I can be in the new environment and I can survive that. There is no issue about that. I didn't fail, I didn't do anything wrong, everything is alright. I drove 2,000 kilometers and I'm back home. I survived that. And that builds the confidence, whether that's the confidence of driving the car for like 2,000 kilometers, or confidence of surviving in an environment full of drunk people, right? Anything, but even a new town actually, to figure out where should I go, what should I see. I don't have much time actually, I'm here for just one day, but I need to see the key areas. You start planning, you start looking, researching, finding people to ask where to go, what to see.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because while traveling, you don't get anyone who's telling you what to do. So you wake up in the morning and you have to decide how to build your day. So that's also an important part of traveling. You are on your own actually. And you decide, you wake up in the morning, what do you want to see, where do you want to eat, what do you want to eat, everything is like
Exactly.
a challenge, a little challenge on top of another challenge. And I have to say that coming back to Warsaw now, I feel more energized, kind of. I have more motivation to do work, to do anything.
Yeah. And of course, while on the road, actually, we found some time in Tallinn where we found a street workout place to just do a bit of workout, actually, not to lose everything. And that's another fun, right? You see somewhere which is quite close to your heart, although you are in a different place, but you still do what you love, actually. And we did some pull-ups, we did some dips there, even some push-ups, we did some running, actually, this quick sprints, which my brother actually won, was surprisingly, but anyways.
I actually never do cardio, so it was also surprising for me. But my legs hurt like 3 days after that still.
Especially that he's on the bulk and he's heavier than me, he still won. That's a new experience, and that's a great thing, guys.
I think I'm going to post it on Instagram, actually, just to brag.
So all those 3 countries were great, actually. It was amazing to experience that, even though the cities were quite small and compact, which is good actually, because we could cover it in one day, each of those. And I think one day was enough, especially if you are not into the museums like we are. So just doing the walking tour in the old town and seeing just key places, it was totally fine for us to cover those must-see places in those cities.
But the only thing that we didn't do correctly, to be honest, is that we didn't visit local restaurants. Because I think that's also a part of the culture where we actually failed a little bit over there.
Who should we blame for that?
Yeah, it was
This guy, I should say that, this guy only wants to eat Georgian, guys.
I love the Georgian cuisine, I just have to be honest. When I go by a Georgian restaurant, I just can't stop and have something to eat over there.
And that's another challenge you need to overcome, right? I mean, negotiating, trying to get something new, he's pushing his side, I'm pushing my side, and we find some, in the middle. So guys, our advice is to stop hesitating, pack your bag, go to that trip. If you can, go outside of your country so that you are challenged more, but if you can't, go somewhere new in your country, actually, where you have never been. And then after traveling there, when you come back, let us know in the comments, actually, what new experiences you gained and how it changed you.
And also maybe share with us your experiences if you have already traveled, like some exotic destinations or something that we can try out. We're always open for new traveling opportunities.
For sure. With that said, guys, thank you very much for being with us. Take care.
Guys.
Peace.